And we move from luxury to the economy. The American economy is improving, but not for the average American family. Economists say the typical American family makes less than they did 15 years ago. This situation hasn't existed since the Great Depression. Ebong Eka is the author of Start Me Up, the No Business Plan, and he's also an international business expert. And he's joining us from Washington, D.C. to discuss what's been called the wage slowdown. Ebong, it's good to see you. How you doing?
I'm well, you too. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah. So what is stifling the growth of wages?
Well, for the most part, it's the economy. I mean, very easy to say it's the economy. If you look at the numbers, the wages haven't really haven't increased over the last year. It's about 2%. And even though the unemployment rate has dropped below 6%, that just basically means more people are working, but they're making less money.
What can be done to ultimately stimulate wage growth?
Well, it's very interesting. You can't artificially increase wages, and so there's been a huge call for Congress and the president to raise the minimum wage. And in some states, even locally here in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, they've actually artificially raised the minimum wage. But the reality is people in the middle class make more than the minimum wage. And the minimum wage is still not a livable wage. And what grows wages or creates wages is demand of products and services from businesses and companies, and then therefore they go out and hire. So the goal is relatively simple. You have to either create incentives to incentivize companies as well as people to increase their education in certain areas, because not all industries are actually suffering from a wage and job perspective.
Well, talk to us a little bit about tax cuts. It's been the conservative ideology that providing tax cuts for the very wealthy and for corporations will stimulate the whole economy. Of course, President Obama ran on a campaign of tax cuts for the middle class. So what role could tax cuts play?
We've had tax cuts already, and look at where we still are. So those are very pithy comments by politicians who are trying to appeal to their base. But the reality is, from a tax cut perspective, it's very short term and it's not really sustainable, because say a family of 4 gets a $5,000 tax cut. What's going to happen next year when their heater breaks or when they have to get car repairs or fix their windows? You need to have higher wages, which is recurring, which happens on a regular basis every month, every year.
Let me ask you very quickly, we're almost out of time, Ebong. Is this a problem that the government alone can fix, or does this require Main Street?
A little bit of both. You need Main Street as well as Wall Street, as well as Capitol Hill. You have to figure out tax strategies to help incentivize smaller businesses, which are not big corporations, just regular people who hire a few employees, because the majority of the workforce are made up of small business and small business owners. And another thing too is, for people who are unemployed, you need to look for different ways to find new jobs. And you do that by, say, healthcare industry, going into the healthcare industry, going into construction, maybe fracking that's happening in North Dakota. The economy in North Dakota is very similar to what's going on in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. You can't find space to live. Like, literally, the price to find a one-bedroom apartment in North Dakota is almost the same as you would find in Manhattan.
Because of all that fracking, yeah, that's amazing. Ebong Eka, it's always great to talk to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.